Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. And welcome to Positive Talk, everybody. We're having a delightful day. I hope you are too, even if it's 100 degrees wherever you are, and or it's raining, and which is also happening. And if, by the way, before you go through a flood or go through a puddle of water, make sure that it's not deep, and if you can avoid it and stuff. If you are in one of the places, either in Texas or the East, where it is raining crazily. And Brichelle is here. Brichelle, it's not raining where you are, is it?
No, it's not raining where I'm at. It is so belligerently hot today. And that is okay because I don't have to go outside. But it is really nice to still have it be warm and beautiful as the night goes on and everybody goes to sleep, which is usually when I like to kind of go be out. So I'm happy to be here. As you said, Kevin, we have had a magical day, and I'm loving that we're getting to close it off with the professor of perseverance, James Perdue. Thank you for being here. Welcome. And I'm very, very excited to be talking about the subject today.
It's going to be fun.
And James, I got to tell you, one of the things that is out there these days is, podcasters. There's a lot of us that are out here, but we need to support each other, don't you think? Because we each have got a message, and in your case, it's a very positive message of perseverance and taking care of yourself and taking care of each other and that kind of thing. And you're from Nashville, Tennessee, and it's cool there.
Cool.
Now, we're going to start a trend because you spell cool in a different way. It's K-U-L, right?
That's how I do it. Even when I've written my books and they send it to the editor and they send it back and they correct it to C-O-L-L, and then I turn around and uncorrect it back to K-U-L.
That's
originality.
Exactly. And so how did you get started in this podcasting world, and what's your background? What are you about, young man?
Well, you went for the diamond and the rough right here on that question. Believe it or not, I attempted suicide 3 times in 3 days. It's how bad I wanted out of this world. And when you live through a suicide attempt, they found me sucking carbon monoxide in my van in my garage, unconscious, and they got me to the hospital, put me in the hyperbaric chamber, forcing the oxygen back in my body and carbon monoxide out of the body, or carbon dioxide out of the body, no, monoxide out of the body, and then was in the hospital for 7 weeks. And then, of course, when you live through a suicide attempt, they make you see a psychiatrist. So I had to see one for a year, and he's one who recommended that I had a message. For whatever reason, God didn't take me. I still had a purpose. And he advised me how to get into public speaking. I joined Toastmasters, National Speaker Association, wrote my first book, and then eventually podcasting.
Well, tell us your writing. Give us the name of your books early, and also your website, so that people can research you and then perhaps even buy a book or two.
A book or two. You can. The main book I push at the moment is One More Play. That's the name of the book, because what had happened, I was playing a pickup game of football, and I got out of the huddle, told him I'd been playing for a couple hours and need to get my stuff ready for college. I was 2 weeks into college and on a baseball scholarship, but we're playing football that day, a pickup game, no helmet, no pads, but we were playing tackle. And so I walked out of the huddle, so I haven't done playing for today. Then I heard someone say, we need someone to run the ball. And I said, all right, I'll come back for one more play. That's how I got the name of the book. And that one play is put me where I'm at today, because I ended up scoring a touchdown. The guy hit me when I wasn't ready in the end zone. and broke my neck and paralyzed me instantly.
Mm.
And that was one more play that you wish you hadn't done. One more play.
Well, honestly, let me get with that if I wouldn't have gone back for the one play, say I kept walking, I don't know where my life would be, right? Hopefully it would be on a positive, metaphor, positive stance going forward. But who knows? I may have been laying underneath the river bridge looking for my next meal, somewhere homeless. But today, I know where I'm at. I know what I would have accomplished. I became a follower of Jesus. And now my big thing is helping others as much as possible.
Which is, in my opinion, the act of service, of being of service to other people, is one of the highest acts that you can do if you do that on a regular basis.
Yep, pay it forward.
Mhm.
Let's pay it forward.
And that's it. And so, how is your health today? Did you recover from the paralysis a little bit and stuff? Are you doing better?
When I first was injured, I didn't move anything from my neck down. And the doctor said I'd never walk again, possibly not move from my neck down. And they advised my family at that age of being 19 to put me in a nursing home. I'd be too much of a burden to provide care. Fortunately, they were hard headed. I was hard headed. We didn't listen to them. And I got where I was able to stand and walk with a walker for 10 minutes. So I tell people I made a liar out of the doctor for 10 minutes. It's just the other 23 hours and 50 minutes he was correct. So, and of course, I can move my arms. They're not the strongest, but I can get dressed, feed myself, drive, and push myself in my wheelchair. So it's good enough, I guess.
Congratulations, and it's going to continue to improve and get better because you are the example of perseverance, and you're not going to give up. Would I be correct in that, young man?
We're going to do our part, that's for sure. And we'll have those bad days, and fortunately, we have more good days than bad days. But I think it's okay to have a bad day. You can self wallow and lay in the kiddie pool and cry a little bit, and then it makes you realize where you have come in life, and you know that you've come a lot further than if you wouldn't have started at the beginning. And so I think it's okay to have a little bad day, pity party today, but just don't hang in there forever. Just move on move on and get that good days back.
You know, Brachelle, we get to do these 15-minute meetings with people before we actually do the show because we want to,
Mhm.
explain what we do and all that stuff. But you had a
Right.
really good time with James, as I recall.
I did. I did. I just thought how how brilliant of it is for somebody to go through so much and be able to understand the other side of perseverance, which I don't even know what I would say that is, but um, to be doing it and living it, but also to, like you said, pay it forward. I just saw that you care and you're thankful for what you have, and you see the brighter side of things, and you also love yourself fully through all the times that you've been through, and you maybe understand those things now and are thankful for some of those experiences, and give yourself grace and understanding, and rather than to be angry about it. And it gets me thinking, like, what started that? Was there an experience you had that triggered you to be like, hey, I'm going to start doing this and I'm going to help people, and putting that all together?
All right, show's over. She explained it all. We're done. So, I appreciate you saying that and recognizing that and everything. Again, I wasn't this upbeat and everything the first 5 years of my injury.
Of
I had
course,
I
yeah.
had my pity party days for about 5 years. I didn't realize how bad of a depression I was in until I got out of it.
Hmm.
And the only reason I
Right.
realized how bad it was is because I remember talking to a friend of mine I went to school with, and she said she complimented how better I was. She said a bunch of us were placing bets you were going to commit suicide. Said we would dread it when you would call and see what we're doing or talking to us. We could hear it in your voice that you were miserable. And here, got me after I got out of the depression, and I didn't realize I was that bad until after I got out of it. So I did the old put the face on because I didn't want my brothers and my mother, grandmother to worry about me. But then when the lights are off at nighttime and I'm by myself, so.
Yeah.
Was that the toughest time for you when you were alone at night and you were by yourself and you had time to reflect upon everything that had happened? Was that the toughest time for you?
That may have been the second toughest, like that, but the toughest was keeping the face on around everybody so they wouldn't recognize it. Even though they did recognize it, I was just so naive, thought I was getting away with something. And so the biggest part of me, the first 5 years, I went to 18 different rehabs trying to find that cure to walk again. I mean, I was so bought into, I've been to 3 or 4 months in Miami Project in Miami, went to Philadelphia about a computer chip surgery, Knoxville, Atlanta. I mean, 18 different rehabs trying to find that cure. And after about 5 years, when I finally get out of depression, what ended up happening was I told my family, says, not that I'm giving up or anything, but if I want to have a good life, I need to go back to college because I didn't know where we live. I don't see anybody other spinal cord injuries where we live. So I didn't know what to expect in life. So I said, for me to have a decent life, I need to go back to college. I figured because I don't see people in factories working in wheelchairs. And so I said, so I went back to college, but what I ended up saying was not that I'm quitting, trying to find a cure to walk. End up being, it was a truth at the time, but it ended up being a big fat lie because after that, I've never one time been to a rehab trying to walk. And it's been 40 years now, 40 plus years. So after I finally said, we're putting it on the back burner, I got to get this college going and stuff. Again, truthful at that time, ended up being a lie because I never went back to it, just so I can move on in life.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is I recently I fell and broke my wrist, and in the operating room they had a new procedure that they could actually numb my shoulder and all the way down and my fingers and everything, and that lasted so there was a period of time when it was like my right hand was paralyzed. I never experienced anything like that before. It was like you couldn't move it, and it wouldn't. No matter what you did, you couldn't move it, and you didn't even feel it. It was, and so for those of us that have never been in a situation where they're paralyzed, um, have a surgery like that because it'll open your eyes about the things that you've had to go through in your life to get to where you are today, which is phenomenally well done on your part.
I've been fortunate again that God knew I needed to be with this family way before I was born. And my brothers and mother and grandmother, they have sacrificed so much of their lives to make sure that I am successful.
But you also are the king of perseverance because you have worked very hard. And when you say the term perseverance, what do you mean? What does it mean to you?
To me, it's just the old simple term, just not giving up. Put one foot in front of the other, move forward. And there's days we're going to have to go back. Something's going to happen. We're going to lose a step. And I used to tell people, take 2 steps forward. If you have to take 1 step back, that's okay. You're still 1 step in the good because you went forward. And but there's days that we'll have to sit back and reevaluate things, and may have to punt and regroup and start over. It's not the worst thing in the world. So, but my big thing is just moving on, keep going, not giving up, do the best you can.
Which ultimately is all you can do, Rochelle.
Yeah. I know we need to take a break, but when we come back,
Oh, good point.
I want to talk.
She is
Yeah,
in
say somebody's
charge.
paying attention.
She's in charge of the break. She knows what we should be doing. I have no earthly idea.
Yes, no, but when we come back from the break, there's a few things I want to touch on about your experiences coming forward out the other side and what that's kind of been like for you. So, Kevin, if you'd love to take us into the break, and I'll bring us back.
This is only going to be 45 seconds, so be quiet, everybody, and stay right where you are. Rochelle's going to be brilliant when we come back.
You became a real estate agent for freedom, success, and real momentum. So why are you still stuck waiting for closings to save you? I'm Ophir Adar, founder of Real Momentum, and I help agents like you become seven-figure earners. My first client that I coached, brand new agent, made $250,000 back in 2006. What's the secret? You feed your white wolf. That's the part of you that's bold and unstoppable and a closer and able to build rapport quickly. So click Get Listings at Real Momentum and let's unleash your real estate potential.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. That's me, and Rochelle is right over there. And Rochelle, I'm going to turn it over to you because you want to ask Mr. Perdue something.
Yes. One thing you've had lots and lots and lots of experiences that have been for you and you only to experience the way that you did. And I'm thinking, what was one of those moments or the experiences that you maybe had kind of come through the other side and realized that you can change your life and you can make it better and you have the control of doing that? Was it overwhelming and was it kind of confusing to figure out, or was it just like this light bulb that went off in your head, and was there something that sparked it? Because there had to have been a time or a moment that you just decided not to ever stop.
Fortunately, I was an athlete before, and competition. I mean, I
Hmm.
was early. I was a sore loser, and early I was a sore winner. Okay, and so I had to learn to be a better loser and definitely a better winner than gloating.
Hmm.
And so when I went to college, I was on a baseball scholarship and hoping to get drafted to be a professional athlete. After my
Hmm.
injury, went to college, quit. Again, 5 years of this trying to find that cure, quitting, going back. Finally, when I decided to put everything on the back burner, go back to college, try to get this degree. See, I was a strong C student when I was in high school. Now, when I say strong, that's probably a C minus. Okay. And it's not that I couldn't do the work, but I only need to keep a C to play baseball, to keep in sports. So my teachers and family would always say, James, you're smart and you're doing all right. Where's the ball field? So, but my brother, when I went back to college and told him I was going to do this, gave me the best advice. The competition that you had within you when you played ball, now you need to turn it around and use that for your study to be able to put forth
Yeah.
everything into this like you did when you're on the field. And because of him giving that advice made me think different. Because when I first, was going back to college, I was going just to get out of the house, get away from them, and give them time away from me. I mean, there was days it wasn't pretty with all of us, with me getting hurt, and so I was going to get away from them. They were getting a relief without me, but his advice put everything you had on the field into the classroom now, and because of that is why I went on and was able to graduate.
Yeah.
What'd you graduate in? What was your
It was
major?
education.
Oh, very cool. Have you decided to use that at all, or have you been using that at all?
I was using it up to the suicide attempts. I'd been teaching and coaching, and see, always right here. See, at basketball there, we won the state championship one year with with our girls team. And I taught and coached 12, 13 years. And when you live through a suicide attempt, your school system fires you because you're, what's it called? Incompetent to be in the classroom. Because of
Yeah.
that's the great support system that they provide. So, but
Horrible.
I knew after I lived through, I knew they were going to do that. So I resigned beforehand. And that's also during that time is when I was working on my doctorate degree, teaching during the day, coaching during the day, or coaching at night, and everything just piled up from there. So, I ended up, just went on to resign, and then went on to finish my doctoral degree then. And the rest of what they say is history.
Well, you attempted suicide 3 times, but you were
3 days.
in 3 days. But so what was it that you said, okay, that's it, I'm done, I quit, I've had enough, I'm not going to persevere through this, I want to check out now? What was it? Was there a huge event, or was there a bout of depression, or what was it that brought on that mindset?
I felt like I killed my younger brother.
Oh,
He was an alcoholic, and we got him to the hospital because we know that he had gotten jaundice. And they told him if he quit drinking, his body would recover. He hadn't got to the point of no return. Told me he would, but they said if you continue drinking, we'll give you a 10% chance of living 5 years. Now he was an auto mechanic, so when they had him in the hospital, they found he had a bleeding ulcer and a hernia. So they told him don't pick up anything heavy. I used to be able to get in and out of bed by myself, transfer, stand, like I said, walk and everything. Before he got sick, I got bit by a brown recluse on the bottom of my foot.
oh no.
Before we knew what was going on, there was a size of a blister the size of a tennis ball. And so when it finally busted open, all that dead tissue, I remember going to school, taught first period, called my doctor during my plan, and he says, well, if it's like you say it is, you got to come in. I said, can't you just call some antibiotic in? He said, no, we got to do surgery. I said, what? And so I ended up leaving. I went to school to go teach, and then you had to leave, to get, so sure enough, they had to go cut all that dead tissue away. And they told me, with the new tissue growing that told me not to stand, it would break the new tissue growing. And so after 6 months of not standing, I lost the strength to stand. So now I need someone to help me into bed. I can get out of bed. I just need help into bed. Well, one night again, my brother was sick. He was told not to pick up anything heavy with his ulcer and his hernia. He got me in bed about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. My mom calls. He passed away. And I felt like if I would have got my butt in bed, he would still be here. And so that was in October. So late January, February is when I attempted.
But you knew it wasn't your fault, right?
But yes. But again, up to that point, I'd been a year because that spider bite that someone's having to come help me get dressed, help me get so I can go to school and teach. And even when I got to school, the principals, assistant principals coming out to the car, helping me in my wheelchair. So now I feel like a burden for a year. And then this on top of it, I just wasn't thinking, overall thinking, again, meeting with the psychologist and everything that year. If he would have stopped his drinking and everything and he'd have been healthier, understand that. But again, when I was down the rabbit hole and going further and further down because feeling like that burden, you couldn't convince me into it.
Well, I can honestly tell you that I'm so glad that that may be the only thing in your life that you've failed at, and I'm so glad you did.
I am too at the moment.
Well, and there's going to be more moments like this than there are going to be bad moments for you, I think.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. Yeah, with again, the guy met with the year, Dr. Lynch. He was nice. He was good and gave me stuff to work on. And I remember when I first met him in the hospital, he had me read while I was in the hospital. Oh, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, and read
Yeah,
that book. Read that book
Mm,
while I was in the hospital, and then he'd come once a week and we'd discuss it. So
sounds like a great doctor.
he was good.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, Rochelle?
Yeah, I'm in awe. I think that it's so real what you were feeling. There's such a human side to what we go through and what we feel, and being open and being vulnerable. And how you said, a long time you put up that face, and um, it was hard for people to maybe be able to tell like what's going on, and you didn't want them to feel that. But then on the reverse side of it, they were the ones who helped you through it and loved you and supported you, and I kind of want to touch base on what your support system was like and how impactful that was for you.
Oh, yeah, just having, because one thing growing up, I was one of them, men didn't cry. Boys don't cry.
Yeah.
Rub dirt on it and let's move on in life. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I kept everything in. Again, that's how I was able to put that face on. Here I am teaching,
Yeah.
with this guilt of feeling like a burden, and coaching our girls basketball team with this feeling like a burden, and trying to hide it from all of them. And then of course my family again, that's 5 years earlier. Now here we are 20 years later having to do it all over again. And my mom was able to see through it then, because I remember before I attempted suicide, she says, you know, you know, this is not your fault. And I'm just nodding my head yes to her to make her feel good. That's not to get her to worry. And so, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I know all that. And now again, obviously, God not taking me, I still have a purpose, and we're working through this purpose and trying to help as many people as we can.
You know, James, we were talking with somebody earlier today, and we were talking about your life, not you specifically, but
Yeah. Huh?
people's life and their mission and their soul mission and that kind of thing. And
Hmm.
and and I asked her, and I think it's true that people who during the course of their life end up with some kind of a disability are the strongest, um, most advanced or advanced souls that come here because they understand what's going to happen to them, and that it's important for them to work through it, and it takes an incredible amount of courage to be able to do that, and perseverance, by the way, to be able to do that. So you should be very proud of the man that you are and the things that you're doing, because I got to tell you, there are lots of us, and I could be one of them, that would be having a pity party and wouldn't be able to do what you're doing. So and for the girls on the basketball team and your classes, you were a shining star of somebody who did something and was somebody that they could look up to. Um, Even if you were in a wheelchair, they could still look up to you for who you are and appreciate all the things that you've done and who you are. Do you accept that now?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, again, the in the hospital and home, the cards sent to me uh, from these girls that played under me, the students, sending cards to me, and then, yeah, just the overwhelming of just continuing support has been awesome. And again, the best, here's what I can tell, because I was worried when I first started teaching how many of these, I don't want to say bad kids, but ones that's a little later maturing. And so they do the wrong stuff to get the attention. And I was going, boy, they're really going to try to take advantage of me being in a wheelchair and stuff like that. And to find out that they didn't do it because of the wheelchair, it was just that was their nature at the time. And it finally took me 1 year, my first year of teaching, of having a couple of kids. Y'all stop doing that. Quit talking over there. Get your work over there. And then finally I was going, just talking to them like that is just not working. And finally I said, you know what the problem is? They're probably already being yelled at by mom and dad because they overslept. And then they're yelled at because they're having to rush to eat to catch the bus. And now the bus has had to wait 30 seconds for them, and they're being yelled at by the bus driver. And then you get into school too early. You sit in the gym waiting until you go to class. And now the whoever's running the gym at that time is probably yelled at you for doing something. And I was going, they're immune to this yelling. And so I started, what I would do is make an example out of them, but it was a positive example. One of them would do that and try me after that. To get everybody's attention, I'd clear my desk off one corner, slinging things off the floor to get their attention, and off the top of the desk. And I'd tell so-and-so, get up here. Your desk is right here in the corner of my desk. We're going to share this daggum desk together. All right. But then when they're there, hey, how you doing today, man? I'm glad you're here. What's your story? Find out why they're doing the stuff they're doing. And then do the old, all right, man, I can't write on the board. I need this written up there for me. Go back and write it. Don't disappoint me. They don't want to hear that. Don't disappoint me. And so they do that and they come back and sit down. Now, I don't have them up there about a month. I go, all right, now I'm giving you a chance to get back with your friends because I want you to have a good year and everything. But I won't hesitate to put you back up here. But you doing that and finding out more about how you can help them than to grade them, man, that was so much easier for me and for them. And I mean, I was one girl I did that to the very first day of school because I heard about her in the 6th grade. And I saw her a couple of years ago. She was working at McDonald's and she goes, Coach, I bet you don't remember me. I said, how can I forget you? And I gave her name. And I told her I was proud of her as she has grown up and she's working in the community and doing what she's doing. And she told me she had had a child and I congratulated her as a mother. And so just hearing them is just the best thing, knowing that they've done something good.
And by the way, that makes for an amazing teacher who has an amazing impact on the people that he's been around. So, James Perdue, you are a pretty special dude. You get that, right?
It took a while, but I got it.
Oh, perfect, because we need to take a break, and Rochelle's going to take us to break.
Yes. Thank you for being with us, everybody. We're talking with James Perdue, professor of perseverance, and myself and Kevin. Don't go anywhere. This is the halftime break. We're going to break through some really more fun stuff. I have some more questions when we come back. So stay with us.
And by the way, the professor of perseverance would be a great WWE name of a wrestler. I'm just saying. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
And welcome back, everybody, to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald and Brachelle here. And Brachelle, I got to tell you, you are also the professor of perseverance, because you don't feel that hot, but you're here, and I really appreciate that. Did you have a thought or question for James?
Yeah, just what made you think of the name? Did you just sitting there one day and you thought, you know what, who is James? And was it just the word perseverance that popped in your mind, or did someone say it to you?
My man, John Bentley. Thank you, John, for this. I always thank him for it. We were at a National Speakers Association meeting, and he was sitting behind me, and all of a sudden I did hear him. He goes, "Professor of Perseverance." I'm looking forward. Professor of Perseverance. And I heard it. Professor of Perseverance. Finally, he goes, "James." Turned around and said, "Hey, John, how's it going?" He said, "You're the professor of perseverance." I go, "What?" He said, "You got a doctoral degree, right?" "Yeah." "You're a professor." He said, "You want to talk and teach about perseverance, right?" "Yeah." "Professor of perseverance." "Thank you, John Bentley. I'm going to steal that from you." So that's how we got it. And now you're talking about being a good wrestler there, Kevin. We need to copyright it, LLC it or something so I can sell it. So
Yes. Do it.
Well, you think about it, and that's what a professional wrestler does, and he wants to be a smart guy, and he wants to be, and because I've followed wrestling since the 70s.
Jackie
Which,
Fargo, Yoto
yes,
Kamanichi, Tojo,
yes,
Jackie Fargo.
yeah, exactly, and Jimmy Snuka, and
Ooh.
my all-time favorite was Roddy Piper,
Mm.
and stuff, and he liked to say he was smart, but there was also a wrestler named called the Professor, because he's supposed to have all the wrestling moves, but the Professor of Perseverance would be somebody that not only is smart, but he's extraordinarily tough too.
Not giving up on your ankle twister stuff. Not giving up
Exactly.
on my brother. He's a big Sting fan back in the
Oh
day.
yes.
Sting.
Oh yes. And Brachelle has no idea what we're talking about, do you, Brachelle?
Partially, actually, I do. I grew up watching WWE and all of those things, so um, I actually do have an idea of that. And even though I was a girl, since I was around that, I thought it was really fun to play around with the boys, and they ended up usually crying. So it was a very confusing
There you
thing
go.
for me.
There you go.
And by the way, I know this is going to shock you, but you're still a girl.
Yeah, yeah, I came to terms with that, and I realized that I can be small and gentle as most would perceive me. But it's through that perseverance, I'm telling you, it puts you into a new person. It makes you not put yourself in a box and restrain all of the things that could be possible and the things that you could do. And it humbles me, especially to have conversations like this with you, James, because we see people and we don't really know their life story. We don't know their background. We don't know what they've been through. And we're so easy to kind of judge based off of the situation or scenario. And it's really unfair. And I'm just glad that you're thriving in a space of resilience. Really, I would say that you not only are you persevering, but you're resilient, and that matters.
I
And
appreciate you having me on the show. And Kevin, let me go back a little bit here. You were talking about how we've come through the other side, been what we've been through,
Hmm.
and
yep.
I'm sure you have met, both of y'all have met other people that have say, not that I wish this on anybody, but I'm glad I went through it because it's made me who I am today. I've had several people on my podcast, sexual assault, spinal cord injury, cancer, and they'll go, I wouldn't wish it on anybody else, but I'm glad I went through it because it's made me who I am today, and I like who I am today.
And before I give you
Exactly.
that answer, James, I want you to say a bit adieu to Brichelle. She has to depart us, but I just wanted you to have the opportunity, and Brichelle the opportunity, to say, because I know James is a remarkable human being, and but Brichelle's got to go, and so say goodbye to Brichelle.
Rochelle, it was nice meeting you. I appreciate you having me on.
Of course, no problem. And I will be in the midst of far listening to the conversation. And just thank you so much for your time, and just being who you are. Keep doing it. We're a fan. And however we can support you, let us know because this is what's important. We need to take care of each other. So thanks again for your time. And thank you, everybody, for being here and listening in. Please don't go anywhere. There's not that much left of the show. And this is a really good conversation to end the day. So take care, and I will see you all tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. And James Perdue is our guest, and he's the professor of perseverance. And to answer your question, James, I've interviewed, by now probably 2,500 interviews and 2,500 people, and most of and well, all of them have gone through trauma, and they've had events in their life that in the normal course of life you would say, oh, that kind of sucked for them, and but life has its ups and downs, and the experiences that we get, both good and negative, it happens to everybody. And so I hear all the time, it has made me the man or the woman I am today, whatever it was, including stage 4 cancer. And then she passed a year or two later, but it was all part of the plan, all part of the deal, and it makes us, what do they say? Whatever doesn't kill you will make you stronger.
Make you stronger.
And that's really true. And you are the epitome of that. You know that, right?
Well, my doctor, when I first got injured, he said if I wasn't an athlete and physically fit, that I probably would have died on the field that day. He said that it only takes 5 to 7 pounds of pressure. So think of a 5 pound, a gallon of milk, but 5 to 7 pounds of pressure to break a neck. And he said, probably with my weight, and I weighed about 195, 197, the guy that his weight, the force of the hit, the gravity pulling both of us down, him landing on top of me, there was probably 800 to 1,000 pounds of pressure landing on my head and neck. And he said, probably if I wasn't an athlete, I would have died. So, yeah. And then the other doctors told my family that I'd be lucky to make it to 42. And just last month, 62, baby.
Good for you. You're young. You've got a lot, and from my perspective, you're young. But I also wanted to ask you that the guy who tackled you in the end zone, and have you kept in touch with him at all? Has he reconciled the fact of what his actions did to you?
That's a good question. I would love to have a get together with a lot of people from that day, but I've never seen this guy again ever. But I think he came to the hospital once to visit me. And at the beginning of my injury, I was on what's called a striker frame, and you can't move, and you're strapped in. And for an hour, I'm staring at the floor, and then they'll put this canvas and frame on the back, strap me in, flip the whole thing over, and now they take what I laid on the front, take it off. Then I stare at the ceiling for 2 hours. So every 2 and 1 hours, I'm being flipped. So one day, I'm staring at the floor. I heard guys knocked and come in. 2 people came in the room. We're talking again. I'm staring at the floor, but I'm talking. And the only reason I think the guy may have been him is because when they left, I heard the door shut. I heard it open up again, and then I heard someone say, "I'm sorry, man," and then shut the door. So I think
Ah,
that may have been him. But then again, ever since then, I've never heard from him. Never. But and I hope nothing but the best is ever. He, his life was as great as it could be. I hope. Um,
well,
I don't hold that resentment. It takes too much stress and worry on your life, and I just prefer him. And even when I first got hurt, hey, I hope you have the best life possible. I've never had any ill will towards him.
well, and I only wish that he'd done a little bit more for you, just so that you could put a name and a face together, and to also express that to him, because that would have been a wonderful gift for you to give to him, because I'm sure that he's carried around that memory and what happened to you, and the guilt would be overwhelming.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I would if I hit someone and knew that I had paralyzed them. I would be. What can I do to help them? You ever hear about his name? Brad Gaines played football for Vanderbilt, and Chucky Mullins in Ole Miss. And Chucky went to go tackle Brad in a Vanderbilt game, and Chucky Mullins got paralyzed. And Brad felt so guilty that he was doing everything he did to help take care of him and everything. When Chucky ended up dying, Christmas Day, Christmas Day, Brad drives to Mississippi to go clean his headstone off on Christmas Day. And even when he had children, he was doing it. And the wife one day understood what was going on. And the wife one day had a meeting and said, you know, you're neglecting your own family and your daughters. We understand what you're doing, but can you do it a different day so we'll have Christmas with you? And so now he goes, I think, the 26th, the day after, to go clean his headstone and things. So that would be me if I would done that. But again, I never heard anything from him. I hope the best, but I would like to meet him, like you said, and to express to him, man, if you've had any guilt or worry, let it go. So now
I'm sure he has.
I would love to meet up with the guy that was going to school. I don't know what you call him today, but I mean, I'm sure he was going to be a paramedic or ambulance dude, whatever, because when I was laying on the ground and I tried 3 times to get up, and the only thing I could lift from my head, nothing else. All of a sudden, this guy, he hollers, so and so. He said, run to my room and get a blanket and get my stethoscope, get my blood pressure kit, bring me paper and pen. And he's taking my blood pressure and keep me calm. And when the ambulance got there, he gave them all this information to help them when they were transporting me. So I would love to meet up with him.
Isn't it amazing sometimes how the right people get put in the right places, to help us out? And by the way, we're talking with James Perdue, and he's the professor of perseverance. So let's spend our last few minutes together talking about the podcast. How long you been doing it?
We just celebrated our 5th year.
Congratulations. You,
June was the 5th year.
I
Starting the 5th
looked,
year, starting 5.
yeah, I looked at it, and you've got well over 200 episodes. Am I correct?
253, I think now.
Good for you. How many times are you dropping them a week?
I do Tuesday and Thursdays, but if someone gets a hold of me and has got a real good story, because I'm booked through August on my Tuesday, Thursdays, but I've had a few people and I go, man, that story is, I don't want to wait that long. And then I'll do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday just to get a few in like that. But try to drop 2 a weekend is what I do.
And then with the editing and all the things that you do, but from my perspective, being a podcaster and getting to talk to such incredible human beings like yourself, that it just energizes me. It makes me feel really good about my contribution. How do you feel about it? Do you appreciate the contribution that you are bringing to the world?
Oh, yeah, yes. Of course, after the suicide attempt, it was first the public speaking, writing a book, and then started YouTube. And then finally I go, people are tired of hearing me. So why can't I help? That's what I want to do. Why can't I help somebody else get their story out? And so that's why I started the podcast then, is to get other people's story. But again, they're blessing me every time I talk with them. I don't care what story it is. You've heard it probably 400 times, with other things, but uh, no, but yeah, I'm blessed every time I talk with one, and it's amazing again what we can go through and find out we're tougher than what we thought from the beginning.
And that we have resilience, and we can persevere, and we have appreciation. And shows like yours are really important for people to listen to. And I'm assuming that they can find it, that it's on your website, or they can go to YouTube, and it's on Apple and Spotify and all those places, right?
Yep, just Professor of Perseverance podcast, and yep, it's on a bunch of those other platforms. Hey, don't cut yourself short there, Kevin. Again, your show's allowing me to be up here to share, and yeah, I know you're benefiting just like I do on that other end. So,
Well, it is remarkable to me when I have the opportunity to talk to people like you, because there's somebody, James, there's more than somebody that's in our audience now or in the future that will be listening to the podcast that we are creating as we speak. And they were going through a tough patch, and like you did, and they hopefully will find a way to get through the tough patch rather than succumb to it. Does that make sense?
yep, exactly. Hopefully, they find what little gold nugget. Again, they don't have to, when they listen to a podcast, you don't have to get 150 ideas out of there. You get one good, solid gold nugget that you can hang on to help you get through your next little trial and tribulations.
Yes. And I just want to say that there's a hotline in the United States. It's 988. If you have got an issue, if you are feeling down, if you're feeling like nobody loves you, number one, you're wrong. But number two, call 988, and they'll get you the help that you need. If you're a military guy, call 988 and then hit the number one. It's vitally important. It's an epidemic that's going on in our country, and with the help of people like James, who's been through it and has come out the other side and is now the professor of perseverance. It's very, very important. So, and thank you for putting yourself out there in this way and doing what you're doing. It's extraordinarily important.
Thank you. And people need to remember, sometimes we're going to have to walk through fertilizer to be able to smell the rose. All right. So
That's right, because sometimes you put down fertilizer, and because the most marvelous rose will rise from the fertilizer, and that was actually a pretty nice way of saying it. So
I do my bit, I do my part.
yeah, because if you gotta sometimes you gotta walk through poop to get to the promised land.
That's right. That's right. Again, we don't have to like it. We don't have to enjoy it, but we have to accept it happened and move on the best of our ability. Again, find somebody, your best support system, and get through it, because somebody's been through what you've been through. You're not the first one to be through whatever you're going through. Someone's been through it too. And so get some advice from them.
When James, when I was young, and you'll appreciate this, I witnessed somebody take their own life. And he was very upset because, his wife was this and that, and he didn't feel like anybody cared for him and nobody loved him and stuff. And then that happened. And then the next day I went to his house, and there were 30 or 40 people there that were all in tears, and they were crying because they loved him beyond measure. And he didn't recognize it at the time.
Yep.
Had he recognized it and knew how many people really loved him, he never would have done. I don't think he would have done that.
That's right.
So that taught me that we don't know how many people and all the people that love us. You've got a ton of people with between coaching and teaching and the man that you are and now podcasting. You got a ton of people who really care for you and love you. That's got to make you feel good.
It does feel good. So, and again, we may have those days, poor, pitiful me. But again, once we stay in long enough and let the fog clear and everything, again, you'll realize the reality. People do care and love you. You're too hard on yourself, probably.
Indeed. And I just want everybody to recognize what kind of a man has been on this podcast. He is an extraordinary man. The Professor of Perseverance. Go to the Professor of Perseverance podcast. And he's also got the book out, which I forget the name of the title, but it was a great title. Oh, One Last Play.
One More Play.
One More Play. One More Play. Which turned out to be One Last Play.
One Last Play. That's right.
So maybe that's the next book.
We get closer to the end, we'll see.
Well,
that would be a good one. That would be a good one to wrap everything up when you're, time to retire or whatever. That would be one last play, and then talk about everything that's happened between then. That would be pretty good. I'm gonna steal that idea, Kevin.
You can have it willingly.
Oh, thank you. There we go. Thank you.
And I want to thank you again for being here. We've got just a minute and a half or so left, but I want you to tell our audience anything that you would like them to know.
I'd like them one thing to remember to be able to express the ABCs. That's all they got to do. Michael Jackson was, when he was 8 years old, singing ABC. You don't have to know the whole song, 1, 2, 3, and whatever. Just ABCs. I get ABC, ABCs. I got to do. A stands for we've got to accept our adversities, whatever is coming in your life. You don't have to learn it, love it. You don't have to care for it, but it's happened. Now accept it and move on. B, let's begin battling. How do we begin that? Again, find other people that's going through what we're going through. Maybe get on that internet with the information on the end of your fingertips. Find out more about it. Get you a coach, a mentor. Okay. Find something that can help you begin the battle. And then the last thing, conquer the challenge. Whatever it is, hang in there like what we say in the South, hang in like a hair in a biscuit, and then get through it, and then have the best life possible. So if you just do the ABCs, I think you're going to do pretty good.
James, I got to tell you, I worked for a chicken company out of Arkansas and my boss, his name was Greer Vest. And that man had so many sayings like the hair and the biscuit thing that I swore I was going to write a book about all of the Southern sayings that you guys had, like a one-arm paper hanger was another one that came to mind. And there's so many.
Hang in like a loose tooth.
That could be a book as well.
I got a friend that's going through cancer. Hey, Sam, if you're listening later on, he's going through pancreatic cancer. And I'm trying to make him a T-shirt once a month. And one of them, I got this guy smiling, tooth is missing, but he's holding it in his hand. And then I got in there, hang in like a loose tooth, for Sam to hang in there.
Well, you're a brilliant man. And thank you. James Perdue has been our guest, the Professor of Perseverance. And if you want to go find out more about him, James, how do they do it again?
Just go to Professor of Perseverance, do the old Google thing, and you'll see plenty of it come up.
And I want to thank you again for being here. This has been an outstanding podcast.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate y'all having me on here.
And you have a great day. And have a great day, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin